Hi everyone and welcome back to the Astronomy Guide. Today we will have a look at the Celestron NexStar 4SE telescope. Basic how to set it up, prepare it for your first observing session. So a little bit of an unboxing video. Still it's not in a box, it's on my tabletop here, but let's call it an unboxing video of the NexStar 4SE telescope by Celestron. So I will quickly just say I'm not sponsored, so that's not why I'm doing this review of the NexStar 4SE telescope. But this is a good starter scope in my eyes, and I think it's a really good and well built type of equipment, and this is why I want to make this review. I know there is tons of these videos out on YouTube already, but hopefully I can give some good tips and tricks as well. So hope you will like this video. So okay, let's start reviewing the telescope and what comes in the package. So the telescope comes with a full height tripod, a really good model, I would say, really stable, really well built. The top plate is made of aluminium, I think, and the steel legs. It's a really well built type of equipment. Someone has really think before they have manufactured it. Full extendable legs. Be a little bit careful though with all your tripods, I would say, regardless of manufacturer, because there is plastic components and they are a little bit fragile, especially if you go out on a cold winter night, I would say, and maybe there is -degrees outside, then the plastic part is even more fragile, so be a little bit careful. But also, if you have seen my other videos, I made a video about 5 essential tips, especially for you as a beginner into astronomy, and I said it's important to make sure that the tripod is mounted correctly and also very stable, because you want your telescope to stand very stable on the ground when observing, to minimize vibrations and so on. And also I mentioned that you don't want one leg to retract when you have set up your equipment, and it will end up you having your telescope on the ground. So this is why when you're extending the legs, unscrew the little thumb screw here, extend the legs to the length you want. I recommend to start with full length, tighten the screw, and here is the tip: tighten but not too hard. It's very hard to say extremely exact how much is good enough, but make a test, see if you can retract the leg if you apply a little bit of force, not too much because the equipment is not so heavy, but just a little bit. If the leg doesn't retract, then I would say that you have tightened the screws correctly. So loosen the other ones, extend to full length. This is my recommendation, full length, start with that, and then when you put it on the ground later like this, you just angle the legs out like this as much as possible. But when you now put it on the ground, you want to have it as aligned horizontally as possible. So put the little water bubble and see, so you have it perfectly aligned. And if you need, for example, to lower one side, hold your hand, apply some force so it doesn't fall over, loosen the screw a little bit like this and lower it down. look at the little water bubble where it is perfectly aligned like that, and then tighten the screw again. Okay, we have now extended the legs, put them out as much as possible, and now it's time for the accessory tray that also acts as a lock for the legs, the 3 legs, but also as an eyepiece holder. And what I really like with this model is that this one is made of metal as well, so no plastic parts here. This is a really sturdy equipment, and how they have really thought about how it should last very long. So unscrew the screw here, and there is the screw, a washer, and a spring. So 3 parts that comes off. This is something, it can be a little bit hard if you do this in the dark. It's easy to drop something on the ground, but 3 parts will come off when you loosen the screw. And you place the accessory tray on the center rod here. Maybe if you can see, if I turn this one a little bit like that, now you can see better the center rod here. So you just place the accessory tray on the center rod and make sure that this rod here goes into this little slot, like a U here. So it goes freely up and down through the accessory tray. We place it like that over the center rod. We take back the spring, and then the washer, and last the tightening screw. It's a little bit tricky, but make sure that the legs are extended fully, and like that. Okay, and again, my favorite recommendation, tighten, but not too hard. This is, as the Swedish word, lagom. Not too much, not too little, just exactly how much you need. And that's not so easy to say. But tighten, and again, make sure, feel, and make some vibrations on the tripod and see, is it sturdy? Make sure the legs are fully out, and correct. See that the accessory tray is correct in place. Tighten a little bit more if needed. And yes, now everything seems to be okay. You can check the tightening screws for the leg one more time, just to make sure that they are correctly locked. So now when we put on the mount and the optical tube, that nothing falls over. This tripod also have this tiltable plate. This one can be a little bit tricky if you are new into astronomy, exactly what this and how it is used. I will not go into detail today exactly why this plate is tiltable like this, because this will make the full telescope mount with optical tube and everything tilt. But this one, I think it's a little bit too much to just briefly mention here. So let's make a separate video about this little feature and what it's all about. But make sure it's completely down, and with this little locking knob here, make sure it's in place and locked. Okay, that's the tripod, and now we are ready for the mount. Okay, so on the top plate of the tripod there is a center pin. This center pin is to guide the mount when you put it on here, to make sure that all these 3 tightening screws aligns correctly with the mount. So this is the mount like that. Look underneath and you will see a nut with a hole in it, and then these 3 threaded feet that goes on top of the top plate. So see if we can align the hole with the center pin, and also these 3 tightening nuts with these holes. Can be a little bit tricky, especially if you are out in the dark. So my recommendation is set up your telescope out in daylight if possible. You don't want to have it out too long before your observing session, but you also want your optical tube to acclimatize with the surrounding environment and temperature. So see if you can do it in daylight. If not, I had in my video about the 5 tips for you as a beginner into astronomy. One of the tips was to use a red torch when out observing. And if you don't have one of those, there is another video, a DIY tutorial about how you can make this torch by yourself. Don't miss that one. It's a really good tip from my side. But okay, let's see if we can place this one with the center pin and the tightening screws in each foot like that. It goes very easily in place. So let's start tightening the tightening screws underneath. There is 3 of them. And again, my favorite sentence, tighten, not too hard, not too loose. Completely enough to be enough. You see, it can be a tricky to do this outside in the dark. So it's really good precision of the parts. So it's not just something that you can place however you want. They need to fit as it should to be stable and secure base for your telescope. Okay, so now the 3 tightening nuts are tightened. The base is now mounted correctly on the top plate on your tripod. So very easy. We have the hand control here on the side. It's a nice feature that it fits directly to the mount. This makes a good place to have it, to handle it. And often when I'm out observing, I let the hand control be here on the mount. Of course, you can take it down like this and you can hold it in your hand and you had this little cable here. But often I take it down when I do the alignment, but then when I go between the objects that I'm observing, I let the hand control be here on the telescope. There is contact inside, an old telephone contact, an RGI contact that fits into a contact here inside the base. Underneath of the hand control there is also an RG contact. This is to connect for RS-232 to your computer to do software upgrade and so on. I will make a tutorial. This cable you can buy that you connect your handset to your computer, but I will make a DIY tutorial on how to make this cable by your own, a little bit cheaper actually than buy it directly from Celestron. But the newer version of the handset has the USB port instead, and this makes the life a little bit easier. But still, it's possible to connect to a computer. You can use remote software to control the mount and the telescope, and also do the software upgrade. The cable goes like this into the mount, and you just hang the handset like that. Okay, on the other side, let's turn everything around and see if I can show you a little bit closer maybe. Here is one port for a camera and also an aux port. Exactly what they are doing, I refer to the manual instead of stand here and talking about the features of the telescope too much into details. I refer to the manual. If we're going into these types of connections and what they are doing, we are more than beginners, I would say. Okay, before we put on the optical tube assembly, often referred to as the OTA, the telescope tube, I prefer to put in the batteries. It makes the life a lot easier to do it before we put on the optical tube. So just open the lid like that over the battery compartment, and it fits 8 AA batteries. So let's see if we can put them in correct order. Make sure that have the polarity right. It's very clearly shown here in the battery compartment on how the battery should be aligned. If any doubt, refer to the manual again. I think it's a little bit easier to start with the outer ones and then end up with the ones in the middle, but it's good, it's well designed, it's easy to use, so not too much to think about. But as I say, 8 AA batteries fits inside the telescope. Okay, now all 8 batteries are inside, so now it's time to put back the battery compartment lid. Okay, battery completed. Let's turn the telescope around again, and I will show you. Now it's powered by the batteries, but down here there is an inlet, a DC inlet. If you want to have an external power source, maybe if you connect it to the outlet, or if you have, for example, a power bank. It's 12 volt, and make sure, if you are not using original adapters, to have the polarity right. This one has the positive tip. Exactly what that means, I will mention that in another video. I will do a DIY tutorial about how to do this power cord by yourself as well. But also I refer to the manual if you have questions regarding the power cable. Okay, one more thing before we power the telescope up. I will not guide you through the NexStar hand control in this video. This is more about the hardware. Maybe, most certainly, I will do a review and guide of the NexStar handset as well, but not in this episode. This is more how to set it up. Okay, so let me turn it around again. Easier for you to see. Underneath here, there is a tightening screw for the dowel, and this is where we should insert the optical tube and then tightening this screw. So unpack your equipment, the optical tube, here's the dowel, insert it into the holder in the mount, and I'm inserting it so it's in the middle, and then I'm tightening the tightening screw underneath, and again, not too much, just enough so the optical tube is securely in place. If you are not securing this correctly and you're starting a telescope and the optical tube starts to tilt, it can be coming, sliding out of the mount and down to the ground, and that you don't want that to happen. So make sure it's tightened, feel and make some vibrations, maybe tighten a little bit more if needed. On the side of the optical tube there is the red dot finder, the finder scope. This one is not pre-assembled onto the optical tube, that you have to do on your own with 2 screws. It's very easy, just slide it on and tighten these 2 screws. Again, I refer to the manual. I don't want to be YouTube manual for the telescope. I just want to have more a review of this type of telescope. But the red dot finder needs to be mounted on the optical tube. And again, in my 5 tips for beginners, I mentioned that it's very important that you align your finder scope with your telescope. I will not mention in this video how to do it, that will be a separate one, but this is important. Just don't screw it on and think that everything is okay. You can point your telescope in the sky and everything is aligned, because it's not. So this is important. In the front there is a lid that just slides on and off like this to protect the outer lens. If you need to clean the lens, make sure that you do it correctly according to the manual again. Use a filter cloth that is especially for optical instruments. So you are very so you protect this lens in a good way. On the back of the optical tube there is one port that comes up here, and there is a little protective cap that you need to take off, a small tightening screw that you unscrew a little bit, maybe 2-3 turns, and this is where you put in your eyepiece. This telescope comes with a 25mm plus eyepiece, really good eyepiece, I would say. So you put it in the eyepiece holder like this, loosen the screws a little bit more if needed, and then you put in your eyepiece like that and screw it, tightening the little tightening screw. On the right side you have the focuser that where you focus manually when looking into the eyepiece and you have an object in the telescope. On the back there is a threaded T2 thread for attaching a camera. This I will go into detail not only on this model of telescopes, but how to do when you're doing astrophotography. Again, separate video will be posted on that one. And when you're using this port on the telescope, you have this little knob here on the left side, and this is actually a flip mirror system that disengage the view in 90 degrees and comes instead out here to this port. And again, turn the knob and you will engage the mirror, and now you look through the eyepiece again. When not using the telescope, make sure that you have this protective cap in front of your telescope. Okay, now we start to come to an end of this video, but before that I just want to turn it on. You have the power on button here, right next to the power inlet underneath the handset. So just turn it on to the right side. You hear a click, and now the handset is starting up, verifying packages, scanning, please wait. So yes, this is all I would say for this video. Let's not go too much into detail, but the sum up of this is that Celestron NexStar 4SE telescope is a really good beginner telescope. I can warmly recommend it. So if you're new into astronomy and you're looking for a new telescope, maybe to upgrade from a smaller one, a cheaper one that you had before, this is a good choice. If you have just bought this type, congratulations. I hope you will be very happy with it, because I'm very happy with my telescope. Hope you found this video interesting, helpful. Let me know in the comment what you think. If there is other models, I have more telescopes, I have mid ETX and so on that I can do reviews on if you want to. So let me know what you want to see, what can be helpful for you, and let's see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.